lot of the other counties started out with the opiate overdose and stuff along that line. But when we started ours, we did something a little different. Ours actually started for high acuity calls. And what that means to Iredell County is that if people are calling 4 or 5 times a week, if we can go out and work with them, sign them a community paramedic program, and we can cut that 5 or 6 calls down to maybe 1 or 2 a week, they can look straight in your eyes and they can tell you whether you're just going through the motions or you're sincere. Our peer support people that's now over at the health department where they reside now, we had a good relationship when it comes to doing that, and we're still continuing it. They're just in different buildings. But working with them was excellent. And the thing about this, when we done the dosing part, them guys could tell I was sincere because I am. When I do it, if you do this kind of job, you got to be sincere.
Right.
You might as well not even come and do this job.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Community Spotlight. I'm Paramedic Ron with WAME Radio, and today we have on somebody that's kind of special to me. He kind of got me, not really got me started, but he helped kind of grow me as a paramedic. I can't say your first name because you're not Matthew to me. You're Munsey.
Yeah. Todd is what most people call me, but Matthew, if you owe me money, if I owe you money, that's right. If I owe you money,
that's your government name,
that's
right?
That's my government name. That's what I sign everything with.
So, this is Munsey. He is with the Community Paramedic program here in Iredell County, and he's going to go ahead and give us a little bit of background on yourself, Munsey.
I'm in the fire service. Been in the fire service probably going on 30-some years. Assistant Chief, Cleveland Fire Department. And I'm also a community paramedic with Iredell. I was a paramedic for going on 11, 12 years before I switched over to community paramedic. The reason why I wanted to do that, I took the class early, but when they first started, I didn't get into it because I sort of liked being in the back of the truck.
Right.
But I like making a difference with people. Most of the time when you on a truck, you go to the house, you work on the patient, get them to the hospital. When you drop them off, you wonder what happened to them, or you also wonder I wish I could do something to help them. Well, that's sort of where we come in. If they're calling several times a week, like 5, 6, 7 times a week, we're sort of like what I call us is the paramedic detective. We go in and look and see what's causing the problem. Why are they calling 5 times? Most people say, "Oh, my toe hurts, my ear hurts, or something." But sometimes there's an underlying other cause. Could it be that they're lonely? They want somebody to come in and talk to them, take their vitals every once in a while? Is it that they're not taking their meds because they're afraid to say, "I can't get my meds together anymore"? We try to provide some of them with these boxes right here. They've got where they can separate their medications from morning, noon, and night, all the way Monday through
Friday. It's one of those pill box type things.
So it works good. We try to also give them. A lot of them have hard times. With their medication. First thing you ask when you get there, what kind of medication? Well, if you're in a dire straits and you feel like crap. you don't want to tell nobody nothing. So,
or you may not be able to think of it.
Yeah. So we do this, what they call file of life, and what we do is we fill it out for you when we get them signed up. We fill these out. Got their medication, contacts, medical data. On the back of it, conditions, allergies, all that stuff, and then we conveniently fold it in this little thing, and we put it on your refrigerator because most people know that's where you look at it is on the refrigerator, and then we got a little sticker that we place on the front of your door, so when they come in, the paramedics or the EMTs or the first responders automatically know, hey, all the information is right there on the refrigerator. So it does cut out a lot of time. It does cut a lot of time. In time when you're having an emergency means a lot.
Those are neat. It
So-
shows your medical data. It shows your emergency contacts.
Absolutely.
If you're a DNR, it's got a spot to check on here. Which, by the way, if you're a DNR, you should have your DNR by this.
Yeah,
just so
you should
they
have it on the refrigerator too, because most of the time that's where we go look at it.
Yeah,
I know you know that, Ron.
exactly. Or it's hanging over their bed if they're on.
Absolutely.
If they're bed bound or something like that. So tell us, and you kind of jumped into the community paramedic and what it does, but how did community paramedic get started in Iredell County? Do you remember?
I think it was starting to start in a lot of other places, and somebody had viewed it and thought, well, maybe this would make a difference. A lot of the other counties started out with the opiate overdose and stuff along that lines. But when we started ours, we did something a little different. Ours actually started for high acuity calls. And what that means to Iredell County is that if people are calling 4 or 5 times a week, if we can go out and work with them and sign them a community paramedic program, and we can cut that 5 or 6 calls down to maybe 1 or 2 a week,
Right.
and then eventually it'd be once every week, and then it moved back further. If we can get them number of calls a week, that cuts down on how many times you have to start a truck up, and then you have to go down to their house and tie up trucks in case, be at this house because, something's going on that's not really emergency, but it's emergency to them.
Right.
And then you have a cardiac arrest right across the street, then that sort of
You're a
ties
truck
up an
tied up.
ambulance. So that's what we do, and it does save the county a lot of money when we cut down those calls. You're talking about gas and wear and tear on vehicles, all stuff like that. And we're very fortunate to have a county that we have some commissioners and Beth, our town manager, and all their staff that really sees that it's very important to have an advocate and have people that come out and help fill in the gaps and the
Right.
cracks that we was leaving a long time ago,
Yeah.
that we're now starting to see and trying to fill that gap up. So we're very fortunate in Iredell County to have people that recognize that and support us with this.
Well,
I know Miss Melissa Needers rode with
Yeah.
me several times, and let me tell you something. She's the sweetest Sunday morning.
Melissa Needer's a troublemaker, though.
I don't care. She's still
she's
sweet.
a big troublemaker, but we love her.
We love her. yes, we do. But I mean, we've always left it open if any of the, commissioners or any of the staff up there wants to
Right.
ride with us. Because I mean, Melissa, when she rode with me, she said, man, it was amazing to see all the smiles and the changes in people's life.
Right.
I remember when it snowed, that big snow, man, we wasn't expecting to get snowmageddon like that, but it was so great because we had people we go visit, but when we get in those modes, you got extra vehicles to go sort of spread out and help with
Yep.
emergencies, and if somebody's run out of needs some kerosene or something, stuff like that. But it was so great to go to, they opened up the Salvation Army
Yes.
place down there. And, buddy, we went down there, and we had some people we checked some vitals on and actually got some one-on-one time with.
Cool.
That was so awesome. And go by the Fifth Street Ministries. I mean,
Fifth Street had a time going on
our
whenever all that was
bosses
going
are very
on.
great, too, because they trust us enough to do our work, but they also
Right.
trust us enough to if we see another need, go out and
Take care of it.
Take care of it. And I mean, because the job's changing every day, and even everywhere out here is changing every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something that I pull up. Man, I would have never thought that we could do some help here, and then we just go help it, and then our job is expanding all the time. Everywhere
Right.
from social work to, and I'm not a social worker, I'll go ahead and tell you, but I mean, some of the work we do it goes into social work, all that stuff. We try to, when we try to get DSS and all them stuff to help, we try to knock out some of the roadblocks and the barriers before
paperwork.
before we turn it over to them. We try to get the ball running, and
Well, and I know that in the past we've had like Restoration Road Ministries has come on.
Oh man, they are awesome.
And they've even mentioned, just like you just did, that y'all help each other out, because they were mentioning that there was a patient that they went and worked with that, and they're not a health organization. Restoration Road is not. So they had to call you guys because this person was living in their car.
Yes.
So they had to call you guys and say, hey, is there any way that you can help us get him the care that he needs? And I think she was working on, whenever she talked to me, getting him into a facility. They were trying to get him into a facility.
Yes, I don't know if he quite got there because he ended up taking off up towards Winston, but
Okay.
I don't know if he found something up there. But yes, we was helping him. I remember he had to go to a appointment, and bless his heart, he didn't have a belt. So I went down to the place, and we found him a belt or a set of suspenders. I said, whichever one you want, just put it on and see if that helps you.
Right.
And that's good that we can do stuff like that. You talking about Restoration Road Ministries. I'm a little part of the Restoration Road Ministry because they went ahead and put it on, because sometimes when I get off work, I go put the other hat on and I help like putting shower grab handles in.
Okay.
And because there's a lot of families got them sitting there, they just didn't put them in. And I said, well, guess what?
Let's fix it.
As an EMS employee, I can't do that. I'm medical. But I said, if you'll give it a little while, there might be somebody else that looks like me that's got a different hat on that will come up and do it. And Rob, man, he's just... Man, that guy is awesome. He's wide open, but he's a good guy. I mean, his heart is in the right place.
You're talking about Rob with Restoration Road.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. That's why I want to be. There's a lot of things in my life I like to be a part of, and if it's God and love for other people, I'm all about it, because you can see a person's heart. That's just like when you work with homeless people.
Oh yeah.
Or addicts. They can look straight in your eyes, and they can tell you whether you're just going through the motions or you're sincere. Our peer support people that's now over at the health departments where they reside now, we had a good relationship when it comes to doing that, and we're still continuing it. They're just in different buildings. But working with them was excellent, and the thing about it is when we done the dosing part, them guys could tell I was sincere, because I am. When I do it, if you do this kind of job, you got to be sincere, or you might as well not even come and do this job. But
and talking about peer support is an agency. It's within the agency of EMS, right?
Right.
So
well, actually, I think it's in the health department now. They're in the health department, but they still do the same functions. They go out and do harm reduction and stuff like that. It's a very good it's things, and people like to say, "Oh, you're just trading medicine for medicine because you're doing Suboxone. You're just take care of one giving the medicine." But no, it's just like diabetes. You got diabetes, but I'm going to take my insulin and stuff. Should I stop taking my insulin because I'm trading my insulin for? You know what I'm saying? So it does, and I've seen peer support and us have seen so many people lives change. We've seen moms and dads that were on drugs that now they're with their family, and their family's stronger than ever, and they do good people. We've seen people that went to the doctor's office, and all it was is they didn't mean to get hooked on it, but they had a major traffic accident and being in pain, you got to have something. I mean, I can understand where they come from, but they got hooked on it, and it's not because they wanted to. They didn't wake up that morning and say, "Hey, I want to, get hooked on medication." But we have been able to help so many people with that, and it's just amazing.
Well, and that's a good thing because it helps the community. I mean,
Absolutely.
in the long run. Especially with what you guys do with Community Paramedic, you're helping to relieve that burden of the calls consistently coming in from what they usually refer to as a either a repeat, or what is the word that I'm looking for? Frequent flyer.
Frequent flyer. There you go.
A lot of people refer to them as frequent flyers because they are calling constantly. whether it be because, like you said, they want somebody to talk to, or they do have some kind of a consistent problem, but they're not willing to go get it checked out, or they can't get their medicines, or whatever it may be. I've seen things where you go and you've gone and just refilled medicines. You've gone and plugged in things. I know we used to have a lady that would call every once in a while that her stuff would be unplugged.
Right.
And she couldn't reach it. So,
yeah, they've called us. I know in EMS, they've called us because they couldn't reach the remote to their TV.
Same.
And the sad thing about this is a most exciting job I've ever been in, and wholeheartedly, I love it from my heart. But the things that bother you on this job is the things that you want to help with, and there's no possible way of helping. And it's whether they're not compliant or the resources you can get is too far-fetched. And I know that sounds bad, but there is some things that
you're just not
regardless
able to get.
of what happened, you cannot make that connection. And it's awesome because it pumps you up to try to do something nobody's been able to do.
Right.
But when and we do that a lot. Well, I had one woman that actually had one of her family members upstairs and was bedbound, and one thing she had was trying to get her down the steps so she could go outside and sit down. And I thought, well, I've never tried to put in for that, but you know that little stair thing that you stand in and it just eases you up?
Oh, yeah.
Like an elevator? Well, I said, you know, I've never tried it before, so I called the doctor's office and I said, this person needs it. I said, they need to be able to look outside and see the sun every morning. I mean, they don't want to just lay in this bed. They said, well, we've never tried it before. So we'll put it in the insurance. And I'm a daggone if they didn't get it.
They just didn't know they could get it.
So don't dream little, dream big.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause, I mean, if you don't get it, you know, you wasn't expecting it in the first place. But if you do get it, well, thank God, you know.
Well, I've always said that the worst thing that can be said is no.
Right. That's exactly.
So, but the answer is always no if you don't ask.
The best, I'd say the best one we've had, it's probably been a year ago. We had a guy that I went and visited that he was part of our program, and he had one little small air conditioning in the living room, and he was sweating like crazy when I come in. And I come in the door, and it took about 2.5 seconds, and I started beating him down, you know. And I looked at him, I said, buddy, I said, do you want me to see if I can try to locate through our resources, try to get you another air conditioner? No, I'm fine. I'm sitting there going, you know. So about 3 or 4 days later, he calls me and he said, hey Munsey, that thing you asked me the other day about trying to help me with the air conditioner, I said, yes, sir. He said, I think I need it. He said, I went to the hospital the other day because I overheated and got heat exhausted and got dehydrated, and I'm just now back from the hospital. And I said, okay. So when something like that hits, it puts a beam in you and you're pumped up about doing it. So
right.
Actually, our local Lowe's down here, I went and talked to one of the managers, and I explained the situation and said, I said, I've got people that will help fund it, but I was wanting to know if you could help us out on the price. Well, he cut the thing in half price.
That's awesome.
And it was like $500. I think we ended up getting it for $200, and we got a whole email worth of
correspondence,
collaboratives.
Yeah.
And so I started putting it in the thing, and some of them said, well, I don't know, we'll see. You know, it kept getting back and forth because it was getting at about the time where everybody's money starts getting low.
They were kind of at the end of their budget year.
And I'll be honest with you, they discourage us from using our own money. But I was at the point I'd already called my wife and said, if I can't get nothing, I said, honey, we're going to get it. I said, you know, we're just going to have to live with it. And she said, absolutely. So I was there, and the one woman that I have at Western Baptist, the one that I usually talk to, I called her and could not get no response. And she's usually the one that's very good about, you know,
helping
responding for Western Baptist. And is it Western Baptist?
Western Avenue?
Yeah, there. Thank you for telling me that. So anyway, So I was just getting real. I mean, we got to do this. So right there in the middle of the parking lot, and if you pray and type, I ain't praying type. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Thank God.
That's all right.
Thank God. Anyway, I just got there and started praying. I said, "Please, Lord, this guy needs this. Please help me." Just as soon as I got done, she called me on the phone.
Call.
It was her. And she called me, and I told her, and she said, "Where you at right now?" And I said, "I'm sitting, be real honest with you, I'm sitting in the parking lot and just was praying when you called me for this particular thing." She said, "Well, I got to take my dog to the vet, but stay where you at. I'll be there in a minute."
That's
so
awesome.
She walked in with me. She paid it for me. I put it in the thing, and I took it up to his house, and I took it out of the box, set it on the floor, plugged it up, and then it was him to, put the in.
Right.
And it was a whole lot better air in there the next time I went in there, I'll tell you.
You weren't sweltering whenever you walked in the door to help him.
Yes. I wasn't wringing my shirt out when I went out. But, I mean, them kind of things is what makes a difference in that guy. And we've helped him put some, with Restoration Road Ministries, I say, put some grab handles on his bathtub and stuff.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, it takes a village.
Yeah.
And I mean, and my grandson, my grandson, he's like 9 years old, and he's getting into Michael Jackson. I'm thinking, that's a long time, boy. He loves singing.
I can't believe he's 9 already.
Yes. Ron knows him good. Ron's met him. But anyway, it's just the fact that it started playing that Man in the Mirror.
Right.
And that makes you get to thinking about that. The man in the mirror, unless we all change to help other people, it's really rough.
Yeah.
But if everybody gets part of that village and puts hands in and helps everybody, it makes a whole difference.
Well, I mean, that's the good thing. Like you said, even though you're part of Restoration Road too, you can step in as a community paramedic whenever they call and say, "Hey, yes, I can," or "I don't know if I can do this, but maybe I can direct you somewhere else that can."
Oh yeah.
Like the guy that needed to be in a facility,
Right.
Even you're like, I can get paperwork started. At least that way we can kind of start a log of what's going on and why he may need this facility, so that if it does get called, then yes, we can say, "Hey, this is the reason."
And we've had patients that I went and checked on that just because they've been part of our program, that I walked in one day and could tell she was having something major.
Right.
She was stomach breathing, and I said, "That ain't right." And you could tell by the way she's breathing. And she wasn't wanting to go, but I finally got her talked into going. And some people was used to, you don't go in the hospital and it being nothing, stuff like that. But I said, no, seriously, you need to take them. So I got over there, and this hospital said, "Oh, I think you got a little anxiety." And I said, "Nope, anxiety breeds from here, not from here." I said, "There's something else going on." Well, at about 6 o'clock, I was at another house, and I got a phone call, and the family said, "Thank you so much." She said, "You was right." She said the patient had fluid around her heart, and that's why she couldn't breathe fully. And if she wouldn't have got seen before, she probably wouldn't have made it past in. And that's another advantage of the community paramedic. We see these people on a regular basis. And another one, what I like to tell the doctor's office, when I call them at first, they're a little apprehensive. And, "Hey, her blood pressure's been up. You might want to look at her meds." And I'm Todd, little community paramedic, trying to, make a suggestion. And I said, "Just understand, all we are is your eyes and ears. What you do, you're the big kahuna, you're the doctor. But I'm your eyes and ears in the household.
I'm telling you what I've seen for the past several weeks."
I said, "I've got it documented here, and I've got it all down." So there is a big need to have the community. And in a lot of places I don't see it. I say, "Man, just imagine what you could do." Yeah. And we was at a class one time, and I heard some people over there talking about, "What about this high acuity call? We do opiate settlement and all stuff like that." And I said, Sir, I didn't mean to be listening, but let me tell you about it, because Iredell County's got it going on with that. And I got to explain it to them, and they was like, oh, so you save money by cutting down on these high acuity cars. They was pumped up, you know. And
well, and I remember whenever I was still working at EMS that there were numbers brought out about how many calls we had dropped that were those frequent flyers.
Right.
That now those frequent flyers, like you were saying a minute ago, it went from 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week, multiple times a day,
right,
to they were calling maybe once a week, and some of them even maybe once a month. So that's a big change, and that, I mean, of course, it's going to save some money for the county and the department.
But sad thing is, not all of them. It's going to help. Some people are and me on some things. I'm setting my ways on some things. So
right,
you know, I'm not throwing off, but some people they're going to call regardless, and that's the ones you can't help. But 3/4 of them you can do something for. And going back, I remember when you first started out as a medic.
As a baby medic.
Well, you wasn't a baby medic. You was pretty smart. We had a good call. I'll tell you the story on Ron. We got called out for a almost cardiac arrest pending.
Oh, it was chest pain.
Yeah, chest pain. That's what it was.
Chest pain.
Chest pain, and we get up there, and the guy was having a seizure, and then he come off of it. And then Ron was hooking up the monitor.
Well, with the seizure, so he wasn't having a seizure until after we got there.
That's right.
We get there.
Let me let you tell this.
He was talking about chest pain, and he said he had never had this before, never had a history of anxiety, nothing like that, but he felt really anxious. And he was sitting there talking to us, joking around with us even.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I hooked him up to the monitor. Because, you know, chest pain, if you don't know, chest pain, you get an EKG automatically. We hooked him up to the monitor.
Then the 12 lead.
And the 12 lead. And I'm like, I looked at Munsey, and I looked back at the monitor after we hooked him up to the 12 lead.
Munsey?
And I looked back, and I was like, all I could say was, And
I said, torsades. We need some mag, and we need to get busy. And then he breaks out into a seizure.
As soon as that happened, he went straight into a seizure.
We had another guy with us, and he was taking down information over there while I was letting Ron do his thing, and I was watching with him. And I look over, his name was Wes. I said, Wes, we need some help. And he looked over and he said, oh, really? So it was.
He went from seizure to cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest.
He went straight into a cardiac arrest and did, I think, a round of compressions on him.
Yep, got him back.
Then
he started doing the torsades again.
Yep. He actually helped move himself over. I remember because this was a big part of it. He moved himself over to the Mega Mover, which is the tarp thing, basically.
Not because we asked him. He done it on his own. So
yeah, we were like, no, you need to sit still. He's like, no, let me help. Had no clue what just happened. So moved him out started doing it again as we were moving him out to the stretcher. Started acting like he was going to go into it again. Got him on the truck, went back into torsades.
Right. And then we finally gave him the mag. We
got mag and everything situated with him there. But he did not know anything about what was going on the entire time.
Out of the truck, straight to the cath lab.
Yeah. And have the prettiest EKG of torsades. If anybody ever wants to see that, I have it. I can show you.
It's all
blacked out in the personal health information.
It's sad because I have the worst saving things habit it is, and I don't know. I think I've asked him 4 times for that same
probably
12 lead because he keeps up with it. Of course, it ain't got nobody's name on it. No HIPAA.
Blacked out all of that. So, but yeah, that's probably the most memorable call.
I do want to give a shout out to I also am a rodeo medic with Junior SRA. They're out. They got several out in Oklahoma, and they're competing for the big one.
Okay.
So shout out to them. Hope they do good today. I'd say, well, yeah, they should have been already doing it today, and then they got to probably do it this evening. One of these days, I'm going to make enough money. I'm going to go up there and watch them. I want to go watch them so bad. It's getting to see them. Like I said, I'm all about anything that's love, and rodeo is about God and family, and to watch kids that are competing against each other clap as much.
They still have
for
respect for
them.
each other.
They clap as much for them as they would clap for themselves.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Probably more so.
That's a family orientation. I'm telling you what, they treat me too good.
So before we finish up with everything, so who all do you have helping with community? Who else helping?
You know,
with
and we got to
'Cause you're not
talking.
by
I
yourself.
got on thing. Oh my gosh, no! And shoot, I'm probably the smallest little thing on the totem pole. We got Lacey Grant. She's number 15 in your program, number 1 in your heart.
If you know any of the Grants in North Iredell, she's related
She's
to all
awesome.
of them.
She is awesome. She's got a heart of gold. You got Cameron. Cameron is
Cameron Horn.
Cameron Horn. He's a real good guy. I call him Viking. You look at him and he look like he'd tear your head off, but he's gentle being when he's out on the calls. And we had Anna Pillion too.
Yep.
She's got a heart of gold. Let me tell you something. To do this job, you got to have a heart of gold. Not saying that being a paramedic, you got to have a heart of gold, but you know, you go into a EMS call. You know, you got to either place pads. You got to give IVs. You got to
Right.
give medicine. You know, pretty much. But with the community paramedic program, there's so many different variables. We have to go. We have to take off our paramedic hat, and then put on a social worker hat, and then we got to take off. The hat of a family. Hey, it's gonna be all right.
Right.
You know? We take off so many different hats, so there's a lot of different struggles. So you got to have a heart of gold and patience, because everything is not going to happen
Right.
just like that. I know all of us want it to, but not. But Misty, she's our assistant director. We got Juan Martinez.
Yep.
He's a good guy. He's our supervisor. But I'm going to tell you something. We got a bunch of people. The best thing about coming to work is knowing that you got the same amount of people that match your heart
Right.
when it comes to helping people. So, it's amazing. We, 2 of us is ordained, and sometimes the hospital, if their chaplain had to go or something, and
Right.
they need somebody, they
Call
call
one
me
of
on
y'all.
camera
Okay.
on opposite shifts. We're on opposite shifts, so
That
it
works out
good.
perfect.
So they called us out, and some of them have even been the patients that our people brought in.
Wow.
That they've called us out to be with the family and stuff. But
And speaking of EMS bringing people in, so the way that people get to be part of Community Paramedic, so if they're a consistent caller and they need some help like that, what happens with that? How do they get in touch with Community Paramedics? So that they
okay,
can-
and going on that same thing, we have even Duke Hospital and Singer's Hospital that call us and have us come out post-surgery and take EKGs for them and send them back the stuff to them and stuff. So we got doctor's office calling too. But here's a brochure that if you do call and come out, we'll give you this brochure. It's also tells a little bit about, it says home risk assessments, vital signs monitoring, chronic disease medication education, wound care, motivational coaching, just finding resources and just is helping. Our goal is to get you back on your own 3 months or less. But there's some people we realize that's always going to probably need a little help. But we try to get you to where you can motivate everything yourselves. So, but we get this brochure. Right now it's got the supervisor's number on it, 704-871-1254, 704-871-1254. And if all else fails, you don't remember that, there's a non-emergency number with the dispatcher. It's 704-878-3039. And like I said, what we do is we come out. We don't force you when we come out there. We don't come out there and start as a person walking in the door. Hey, what's your name? Let's sign you up real quick. What we do is we talk to you about the program. We give you the brochure, and let you and your family sit down and talk about it and make a decision. Because you all know that if we sit in there and we come in there and we force you to sign up, next time we come out there, you might turn all the lights on and not open the door for us, But we know if you call us back and you really want us, then we know that you're gonna be like Motel 6 and leave the light on for us and let us in.
Well, I like this here. It says you also do a home safety assessment whenever they start with you guys. It says community paramedic will look at many factors that have been shown to cause injury to members of the home, especially the very young and elderly. This assessment is not a mechanical inspection of the home and is not designed to look at the safety of electrical wiring, hot water heaters, plumbing, or any mechanical features of the house.
But if we see anything arcing, we will sure bring it to your attention.
It's like I've said before in EMT classes, whenever I've taught EMT classes, those home rugs, those pretty decor rugs that a lot of grandparents like to have, I know there's a lot of grandparents out there that are probably mad at me because I tell most of my EMT students, go home and tell your grandparents they do not need those in their house. Yeah. Those are a trip hazard.
You made me think of something, and I'm going to tell this real quick because I think it's funny. And you know me, I like funny. We was at a house one time, and one of the main things was a woman was falling all the time. So she happens to be in her bed when they lead me in there. So when I get there, she's on the edge of the bed, and her feet's off the floor this high. In other words, her bed's so high, and her feet are dangling off the floor. And I said, honey, I've already figured out what your problem is, and I ain't been here about a minute or two. She goes, what? And the family member goes, what do you see? And I said, well, I said, she ain't got no socks on. Them are good sled runners. And I said, she's sitting off the bed like 10 feet too tall. And I said, when she makes contact, when she's sliding off that bed and that floor, it takes it right out from under her. And I said, that's a problem. But I said, ma'am, I can fix that. She goes, you can? I said, if you'll give me about 5 minutes to run outside, I got to go grab my chainsaw. I'll be right back. So I start walking towards the door, and her eyes are about this big. And I said, no, ma'am, I'm just joking. But no, we do need to work on getting her bed lower, stuff. I'm not going to get a chainsaw. But and she laughed, but they like people when they, I think laughter is a medicine.
Oh, yeah.
I really do, just like Patch Adams.
Yep.
I seriously do. When I get on the EMS truck, I like to say, you got a different truck day. You got the entertainment truck, but it's going to be all right. You see me entertaining, you're fine. But if you see me get serious, then you can start worrying. But I think laughter is a good medicine because everybody comes to you in their time of need, and you don't want to be that one that spits out about 50 long words that people don't understand just to make yourself look bigger. And
use those $15
and confuse
words.
them, yeah, and you know me, if I say a $15 word, I'm breakdancing. So anyway,
so again, that phone number for them to get in touch with you guys, 704-871-1254, right?
That's exactly right. Or the non-emergency ECOM number, which is our dispatcher, is 704-878-3039. 704-878-3039.
Okay. So if you need the assistance of the community paramedics, they will actually come out and help you. So,
right.
And if you get Munsey, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, we'll sing, we'll cry, we'll pray, whatever you need.
And like I said, Lacey's great, Anna's great, Cameron's great. So
I remember last patient, me and her sung in the back of the truck when I got on the 911 truck. She was just singing louder than I was.
I do remember whenever we rode the truck together, you would always brighten up the patients. I mean, you'd always brighten me up too, but you'd always brighten up the patients by
I love doing it.
By singing and doing all kinds of stuff. So, but you're right. If you're serious, there is something really, really bad going on.
Yeah, I don't cut up when it's serious. It's all about business.
And before we go, I'm going to tell one more story that we had.
Oh Lord.
We had a patient at a factory.
Yes.
This young lady was taking down multiple people. I mean, 8 of us probably had to fight this young lady, and not in the word of like fighting.
And she didn't weigh $109.
Yeah, she had a seizure, but we weren't sure if it was a seizure or head injury, and it was a serious condition, and you could tell by Munsey's change in pace that, hey, this is not a joking matter.
Yeah, this is not joking. She is whooping us all.
So,
and I'm serious, she was probably about, and I'm not very tall, and she's about like this, skin as can be.
Yeah.
Didn't weigh $109, and that was soaking wet. But she daggone was taking that. And this one guy that was trying to hold her down and keep her safe he was like,
He was a good
Hoss
300
Cartwright.
pounds and
He was
probably
like,
6'5".
if any of you know Hoss Cartwright, he was about like Hoss Cartwright.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
And he was getting his giblets kicked too, you know. I mean, he was getting whooped. So,
but yeah, Todd Munsey is a good guy to work with. You've always been somebody that would bring encouragement and joy to the patients and stuff. That's one thing I've always liked about you and admired about you.
It's all about what's in your heart.
But give them a call if you need them. If you're on a call, or if you feel like you need them from a call that you've been associated with, they can actually, those people on the 911 trucks can actually give you information for them as well. So
yeah, they call us regularly.
Ask them about it. But thanks, Munsey, for
Thank
coming
you,
in and
Ron.
seeing us.
Thank y'all.
Thank you guys for joining us on Community Spotlight. If you know anybody that would be a good fit to come in and talk to us about something they do, give us an email, ron.wameradio@gmail.com, and we will get you on and get you scheduled. So until next time, we'll see you then.